I was reborn as a snake, only to be steeped in medicinal wine. Besides me, there were several other brewing buddies in the jar. A toad, a gecko, a lion, and a snake. It seemed the person brewing this wine wanted to make 5 poison wine out of us. As I was thinking, a wave of hunger hit me. Since I couldn't get out for now, I might as well eat something first. So, I braced myself against the disgust, and swallowed the toad in one gulp. Then I made short work of the other brewing buddies. The feeling of weakness in my body vanished instantly. Just then, the door was suddenly pushed open. A middle-aged man walked in. I quickly closed my eyes, pretending to be a dead snake. This 5 poison wine has been steeping for half a year. It's time to add new wine and seal the jar. By the end of the year, I can sell it to Boss Wong and get a new 3-wheeler. He muttered, pulling off the red cloth covering the jar's opening. His brow instantly furrowed. That's not right. How come there's only 1 snake left? Where are the others? The man prepared to open the wine jar to check. I knew my only chance to escape had come. So, the moment the lid was opened, I shot my head out forcefully and sprayed a mouthful of venom onto the man's face. The pain made him scream. I seized the opportunity and leapt out of the wine jar, and slithered quickly towards the door. Outside was an old residential area. A few kilometers away was a mountain forest. As long as I could get in there, I would be like a dragon returning to the sea, completely free. However, on the way, I'd need to cross several busy main roads. A big venomous snake like me, crawling on the street in broad daylight, would definitely be spotted. It would be best to wait until dark and move stealthily. Just as I was about to slip into the small woods nearby to hide, a ferocious bark suddenly erupted. A large yellow dog, half the height of a man, rushed out from an alley, baring its fangs and drooling, barking madly at me. Damn it, when it rains, it pours. I already took down your master. Who do you think you are, acting like some kind of guard dog? I stopped and coiled into an attack position, hissing threateningly. The big yellow dog was startled and took 2 steps back, but it still wouldn't leave. It barked even more fiercely. The man's cries from inside and the dog's barking had already attracted snooping neighbors. I couldn't waste any more time. I feinted, pretending to attack its left side, and in the instant it dodged to the right. I sprayed a mouthful of venom towards its eyes. The big yellow dog reacted extremely quickly, whipping its head aside, getting splashed with only a few drops on its nose. It whimpered in pain, tucked its tail between its legs, and turned to run. I took the chance to turn and quickly dart into the small woods. I found a hidden tree hollow and slipped inside. After a while, the sound of police and fire engine sirens came from outside. Did you hear? Old Wang's wine-steeping snake escaped and blinded him with its venom. That's creepy. It was steeping for half a year and it's still alive. My heart skipped a beat. 10 minutes later, the sound of footsteps and barking came from outside the woods. 6 firefighters, holding steel forks and carrying sacks, were leading 2 German shepherds and searching in my direction. The hounds had their noses to the ground and had obviously locked onto my scent. I had to find a more hidden place. I looked around and saw a pitch-black hole not far away. I dove in without a second thought. A snake's night vision is no joke. The pitch-black hole was as bright as day to my eyes. After crawling 4 or 5 meters in, I suddenly stopped. Coiled in the depths of the hole was a rat snake about the same size as me. It was sound asleep, its body cold, still in hibernation, completely unaware of the commotion outside. Looking at it, a wicked idea popped into my head. Isn't this a ready-made scapegoat? Sorry, brother, it's not that I'm cruel, but if they catch me and take me back, I won't just be dissected. I'll also be made into a specimen. You can rest in peace. Every year on this day, I'll burn the biggest rats for you. I slithered over silently, and while it was still asleep, I bit down on its neck, injecting a suitable amount of venom. The rat snake twitched violently for a moment, then quickly went still. I dragged its body to the entrance of the hole, leaving a small section of its tail exposed. Then I hid around a corner and held my breath. Soon, the 2 hounds rushed to the entrance of the hole, barking furiously at what was inside. One of them suddenly shoved its head in, bit the rat snake's tail, and started yanking it out. They'd caught it. The firefighters shouted excitedly as the hound dragged the entire rat snake out and slammed it onto the ground. One firefighter pinned its head with a steel prod while another deftly stuffed it into a burlap sack. Perfect. Finally, it's dealt with. Phew. Wait a minute, this is a rat snake. It's not venomous. Ah, who cares? As long as we caught something, it's fine. Old Wong must have remembered it wrong. The group walked off, chatting and laughing. The sounds of their footsteps and the dog's barking slowly faded into the distance. I collapsed on the ground, letting out a sigh of relief. That last ordeal nearly wore me out completely. I felt a tinge of guilt, but I know that in this world, being soft-hearted is a death sentence. Still, I couldn't let my guard down. This is still human territory. I have to hunker down until midnight, then escape deep into the mountains. I hid in the tree hollow for a few hours. A few more search parties passed by, but none of them discovered me. When night fell, the surroundings were pitch black, with only a distant streetlight casting a dim, yellow glow. I stretched my body, getting ready to set out. But just then, hunger struck again, even more intensely than before. No way, I have to eat before I get going, or I'll starve before I even make it to the mountains. I activated my heat sense and quickly found a fist-sized heat source in the grass up ahead. A fat rat was nibbling on a wild berry. Talk about a free meal delivery. I lowered my body and crept forward silently. From 3 meters away, I shot forward and sprayed a mouthful of venom onto it. The rat shrieked, struggled for a few steps, and then went still. It looked disgusting, but my stomach was already growling. I slithered over, steeled myself, and swallowed it whole. Ding! Host detected consuming a living creature. Infinite evolution system, activated. Energy points gained for consuming large rat. System panel has been enabled. A cold, mechanical voice rang out in my head. I was stunned for 3 seconds, then I got so excited my tail started thrashing wildly. A system. I actually awakened a system. So that's it. You have to eat live prey to awaken it. No wonder all that stuff I ate in the wine jar before only filled my stomach. Open panel. A pale blue virtual panel appeared before my eyes. Looking at the attributes on it, I couldn't help but twitch. So what you're saying is, I can't even take on a regular king cobra right now. No wonder I couldn't even handle that dog before. Doesn't matter. With this system, sooner or later I'll evolve into the ultimate king of snakes. When that time comes, forget dogs. I'll be able to gulp down tigers and lions in one bite. I twisted my body and started slithering toward the deep mountains. Along the way, a thought struck me. Does the system have a detection feature? You know, the kind that can spot people and prey ahead of time. Consume 1 energy point to activate temporary life detection radar? Duration, 1 hour. Yes. The next second, my vision filled with a dense array of glowing dots. Blue means harmless, red means dangerous. The bigger the dot, the stronger it is. This is just too good. With this, I'll never have to fear a sneak attack again. I slithered onward, sweeping up all the small animals along the way. Voles, wild rabbits, geckos, anything I could overpower ended up in my belly. The energy points just kept climbing. Just then, a yellow dot caught my eye. I thought the system only had red and blue dots. Curious, I slithered closer and discovered it was a banded krite, sleeping coiled up on a rock. It's extremely venomous, which means it's a great power-up. I snuck around behind it and, while it was off guard, lunged forward and bit its vital spot. I injected a massive dose of venom. The banded krite struggled a few times, then stopped moving. Consumed banded krite, gained 12 energy points. Holy crap, such a high payout. I excitedly gulped it down. For the next 4 hours, I went into a frantic feeding mode. After gorging myself, my energy points settled at 400. My hunger was finally gone. System, convert all points to evolution power. Consumed 400 energy points. Gained 40 evolution power. I looked at the 40 points of evolution power on the panel and made a bold move. Put everything into my 5 attributes. Evolve. The moment I spoke, a heart-ripping pain instantly consumed my whole body. It felt like my flesh was being torn right off my bones, which were cracking and popping. My entire self, my entire snake body, thrashed wildly on the ground. 5 minutes later, the pain vanished. A warm current surged through my entire body. I looked down and saw I'd grown a size bigger, my scales now a glossy, jet black. They felt rock hard to the touch. My fangs had grown longer too, glinting with a cold light. Ding! Evolution successful. Host. Gang Dan. Realm. Beast. Level 5. Speed and endurance doubled. Top speed can reach 80 kilometers per hour. Next stage. Mutant Beast. I tried coiling and springing my body, and with a whoosh, I shot forward 7 or 8 meters. I tried hitting my scales with a rock, but it only left a white mark. Awesome. I'm not that helpless little snake anymore. Just as I was about to cross the road ahead, I heard the roar of a sports car. A red Ferrari was speeding towards me at 200 miles an hour. Its headlights were blinding. With no time to think, I launched myself forward in a mid-air dash, becoming a black bolt of lightning as I shot past the front of the car. What the hell? What was that thing? A snake. The woman in the car was so scared she slammed on the brakes. The tires left 2 long streaks of black smoke on the road. Still in shock, she pulled up her dashcam footage. She was stunned as she watched the black shadow on the screen, which was almost a blur. She immediately called the news hotline. The next day, I snapped my eyes open to see a giant eagle circling in the sky. Its wingspan was over 3 meters, its talons were like steel hooks, and its gaze was sharp as a knife. This wasn't an ordinary eagle, it was a mutant bird of prey. I immediately activated my radar while pretending to be asleep. Trying to kill me? Today, I'll show you who the real prey is. The eagle circled a few more times, and seeing that I wasn't moving, it thought I was asleep. It tucked in its wings and dove down like a cannonball. Its talons aimed straight for my head. The instant it was about to strike, I suddenly twisted my body and dodged. At the same time, I spat a mouthful of venom at its eyes. The eagle frantically flapped its wings to dodge, but a few drops still splashed onto them. The venom instantly burned several small holes in its wing. The eagle let out a piercing shriek and charged at me again in a rage. It was incredibly fast, and the wind from its wings made it hard for me to keep my eyes open. I dodged nimbly among the rocks. The eagle's talons scraped against the rocks again and again, kicking up sparks and leaving deep gouges. After a few rounds, I was starting to lose my stamina. I can't let this drag on, I have to end it quickly. I pretended to be exhausted, slowing my movements down. The eagle saw its chance and dove in for the kill. It was aiming to peck right through my head. Now's my chance. I whipped around and slammed my tail hard against the eagle's wing. With a loud crack, the bone snapped. The eagle shrieked in pain and lost its balance. I seized the opportunity, lunged forward, and sank my fangs into its neck. I injected all of my venom. At the same time, I wrapped my body tightly around it and squeezed with all my might. My constrict skill is already at the intermediate level, with 20 strength points. I could even snap a wild boar's bones with this. The eagle's bones creaked and cracked in my coils. It struggled for a moment, then went still. I released it and caught my breath. Then, I opened my mouth wide and swallowed it whole, feathers, bones, and all. This whole swallowing it in one go thing is awful. If only I had teeth, I could chew my food. Ding! Host's desire for organ modification detected. Activating organ modification system. Available for exchange. Sharp teeth, 1000 evolution points. Vocal cords, 5000 evolution points. Basic limbs, 10,000 evolution points. Human form, 1 million evolution points. My eyes went wide staring at all those zeros for the human form. I can really become human again? But then I looked at the 800 evolution points I just earned and sighed. It's a long road ahead. I guess I'll just have to keep on eating. Just then, my radar suddenly blared a warning. More than a dozen red dots, 1 kilometer away, were moving quickly towards me. 2 of the dots were especially large. Startled, I quickly hid in the bushes. Soon, I saw 2 large hounds sniffing the ground up ahead. 5 burly men followed them, carrying shotguns and steel forks, every one of them looking vicious. Turns out the government put a $500,000 bounty on me, the venomous snake. A big reward always brings out the brave ones. The 2 hounds had already picked up my scent and were running my way. There were a lot of them, and they had guns. A head-on fight is out of the question. I'll have to pick them off one by one. I quietly circled around to their flank. I saw a tall guy who had strayed the farthest from the group, poking around in the grass with a stick. "You're first." I held my breath and silently moved up behind him, then suddenly shot out and sank my teeth into his palm. "Ah!" the tall guy screamed, and his club fell to the ground. He looked at me in horror, trying to shake me off, but I held on tight and injected my venom. "There's a snake. Over here." The others reacted, raising their hunting rifles and firing. Bullets whizzed past me, kicking up dirt as they hit the ground. I released my bite and quickly darted into the woods. "Fourth brother, how are you? My hand is completely numb, I can't move it. Quick, bandage his wound. This snake's venom is vicious." They left a short guy to look after the injured man while the other 3 pursued me, with 2 hounds running ahead, barking ferociously. I deliberately slowed my pace, luring them into a remote valley. The trees here were so dense their hunting rifles would be useless. As soon as the 2 hounds entered the valley, I suddenly dropped from a tree and sprayed venom right in their faces. Dogs collapsed without even a yelp, convulsed a few times on the ground, and then stopped breathing. Hearing the noise, the 3 men behind them rushed over. When he saw the dogs' bodies, the scar-faced man kicked a rock in anger. "This beast is too damn cunning. I don't even care about the money anymore, I'm going to kill it." I watched them coldly from a tree. As they pressed forward, I set my sights on the fat man lagging behind. I lunged down and sank my fangs into his wrist. "Ah!" the fat man screamed and swung at me, but I dodged nimbly and slipped back into the bushes. Fatty, the leader, enraged, fired several shots into the thicket. He grabbed his gun and was about to charge in, but Scarface held him back. "Leader, don't be impulsive. That beast is intelligent. It's trying to lure us in and pick us off one by one. We've already lost 2 men and 2 dogs. If we don't leave now, we're all going to die here." The leader panted, his eyes filled with frustration, but he knew Scarface was right. He stomped his foot hard. "Retreat. We'll go back and get more men. I refuse to believe we can't catch this thing." The 2 of them supported the fat man as they retreated miserably. I slithered out of the bushes, ready to leave. Suddenly, I smelled a strange fragrance. It was so alluring it made my blood race. I followed the scent and discovered it was coming from the backpack that the injured tall man had dropped. I nudged the backpack open with my head. Inside, aside from medicine and rations, there was a small red box. Opening the box, I saw a fist-sized, red fruit lying inside. It was crystal clear and radiated a tempting glow. Ding! Heavenly treasure detected. Blood spirit fruit. Effect. Consume to obtain 10,000 evolution points, greatly enhance constitution, and possibly awaken a new skill. Warning. The properties are extremely potent. Consuming it with an insufficient constitution will result in bodily explosion and death. 10,000 evolution points. My eyes lit up. With this, I could evolve directly into a mutant beast. Just then, I heard footsteps in the distance. Oh no, they've come back. With no time to think, I snatched the blood spirit fruit in my mouth and fled deep into the mountains. Oh no, that beast took the blood spirit fruit. The leader's angry roar was followed by a volley of gunshots. Bullets struck my back, chipping off a few scales. The pain was excruciating, but I ignored the wound and fled desperately. I held the blood spirit fruit tightly in my mouth, not daring to let go. It was my only hope for survival, and I couldn't let it be taken from me. I fled frantically for I don't know how long, only slowing down when I could no longer hear the sound of gunfire. I had lost too much blood and was completely exhausted. My vision started to black out. I crawled to a nearby stream and took a few sips of water. Then, I crawled onto a floating bamboo raft. The moment I was on, everything went black and I lost consciousness. I had subconsciously swallowed the blood spirit fruit. After an unknown amount of time, I groggily heard a little girl's voice. It was a soft, sweet voice, like a marshmallow. Daddy, Grandpa, come and look, quickly. There's a huge snake on our raft. Then came a man's voice, my heavens. Such a huge black snake. It couldn't be that mutated venomous snake from the news, could it? Stay back, don't get any closer to it. Be careful, it'll bite you, an old voice said. My heart tightened. It's over, I've been discovered by humans. I tried to open my eyes but found my eyelids were as heavy as lead, and my body couldn't move. Just when I thought I was dead for sure, the little girl's voice rang out again, Grandpa, Daddy. Don't be afraid. Look, it's bleeding. It's hurt. The poor thing. Let's save it. Kyre, don't be ridiculous. This is a venomous snake, it could kill someone, the man said urgently. It won't, the little girl said firmly. I can feel it. It's not a bad snake. It's in a lot of pain right now, it doesn't have the strength to bite anyone. And it looks like it's crying. I was stunned. She could feel my emotions? After a while, I felt someone gently poke my body with a stick. When I didn't react, the old man sighed, fine. Since you want to save it, Kyre, go ahead and take it back. But you have to promise Grandpa you won't ever touch it, you hear? Thank you, Grandpa, I knew you were the best. I felt myself being carefully lifted up with a stick and placed into a bamboo basket. Then the basket was shouldered and started moving forward with a sway. I don't know how long it was before I was placed in a warm spot. Someone applied herbs to my back. A cool sensation spread over me, and the pain eased considerably. I fell into a deep sleep again. In my slumber, a powerful energy erupted within my body. It constantly repaired my body and reconstructed my meridians. I felt like my very soul was transcending. After some time, the pain disappeared. I snapped my eyes open, and a sharp glint flashed from them. Ding! Breakthrough successful. Exotic beast. Remaining beast essence, 15 years. Host, Gang Dan. Race, Divine Variant King Cobra. Can perform mental communication with humans who have special abilities. I moved my body a bit and discovered the wound on my back had completely healed. There wasn't even a scar. I looked around and found myself in a small farmhouse courtyard. Vegetables were growing in the courtyard, and a few hens were pecking at the ground. From the house nearby came the voices of the little girl and the old man. Grandpa, why isn't the big snake waking up? I already got some chicken ready for him. Soon. It was injured so badly, it needs to sleep for a few more days. Okay, the little girl's voice was filled with disappointment. A warm feeling spread through my heart. To think that in this dog-eat-dog world, there are still such kind people. I wriggled my body and crawled out of the bamboo basket. The hens squawked in terror when they saw me, flapping their wings and running everywhere. What's that sound? The old man walked out of the house. When he saw me, his face turned pale. He grabbed the little girl behind him, pulling her into a protective embrace, and turned to run. Grandpa, don't run. The little girl poked her head out from his embrace. Her eyes lit up when she saw me. The big snake is awake. I stopped moving and gently swayed my tail at them to show I meant no harm. At the same time, I tried to use telepathy to transmit my thoughts to the little girl. Hello, thank you for saving me. The little girl paused for a second, then jumped up in delightful surprise. The old man was confused. Kyre, what are you talking about? Grandpa, the big snake can really talk. He's thanking me for saving him. The little girl said excitedly, then turned to me. Hi there, big snake. My name is Mi Kai. What's your name? My name is Gang Dan. Gang Dan? That's such a cute name. Mi Kai giggled. See, Grandpa, he's really not a bad snake. The old man looked at me dubiously. Seeing that I truly had no intention of attacking, he slowly let his guard down. He sighed. I never thought there were actual talking snakes in this world. Kyre has been able to communicate with animals since she was a child, so it seems she was telling the truth. I learned later that Mi Kai's parents were working in another city and hadn't been back for several years. She and her grandpa had relied on each other since she was a child. She was born with the ability to understand what animals say, but one as smart as me. I was the first one she could talk to. The next few days were the happiest I'd had since my rebirth. Mi Kai brought me delicious stewed chicken and meat every day, finding all sorts of ways to help me recover. Every time she came, we would talk for the whole afternoon. I told her about my adventures in the mountains and how I escaped from the wine jar. I even told her how I fought the eagle. She would listen without even blinking. She also told me about the village and her life with her grandpa. She said her biggest wish was for her mom and dad to come back and be with her. Whenever she spoke of this, her eyes would turn red. Looking at her, I secretly made a vow in my heart. I must protect this kind little girl. But peaceful days are always short-lived. One day, Mi Kai's father, Agwe, came back from the fields, his face ashen. Dad, this is bad. Our vegetable patch was torn up by a wild boar. All the vegetables we worked so hard to grow are gone. Hearing this, old man Mi hurried to the fields with him. When they returned, both of their faces were grim. It wasn't just us, several other families in the village were hit too. That wild boar is as big as a calf, and its eyes are red. It must be a mutant, Agwe said. Then what do we do? Mi Kai was so anxious she was about to cry. Those vegetables are our family's food supply. What can we do? The government won't let us kill wild boars. They say they're protected animals. We can only count ourselves unlucky, Agwe said helplessly. Over the next few days, that boar became more and more brazen. Not only did it wreck the vegetable patches, but it also broke into courtyards to steal things and injured 2 villagers. The villagers were terrified, not daring to go out after dark. Seeing the worried looks on Mi Kai's and her grandpa's faces, I felt terrible. They saved my life. I couldn't just stand by and watch them get tormented. So, I said to Mi Kai, tell them. I can help you kill that wild boar. Mi Kai's eyes lit up. Really? Dan, you're amazing. But that boar is really ferocious. Don't worry, it's no match for me, I said confidently. I'm a mutant beast now. Forget one mutated boar. Even if there were 10 of them, I could take them down easily. Mi Kai quickly told Agwe and Old Man Mi what I said. Both of them were stunned, looking at me in disbelief. I gave them a slight nod. Agwe was so emotional he nearly knelt before me. Lord Snake Immortal, thank you for your help. If you can get rid of this boar, our whole family will set up a longevity tablet in your honor. The next morning, after saying goodbye to Mi Kai, I activated my radar and slithered towards the foot of the mountain. I searched for half the day but couldn't find any trace of the boar. In that case, I'd just have to lie in wait. Food is scarce in the mountains, so that vegetable patch was its certain target. I hid in the grass next to the patch and waited quietly. Around noon, my radar suddenly showed more than a dozen red dots moving quickly in this direction. My heart skipped a beat. Taking a closer look, I saw the 2 people leading the group. That captain and Scarface from before. They just don't give up. How dare they come back? After devouring the blood spirit fruit, I've also eaten plenty of animals in the mountains. I'm already a level 3 beast soldier now. This time, I won't let them leave here alive. I followed them stealthily, listening to their conversation. Lao Wu, this time we brought 10 men and all these guns. We'll definitely be able to catch that snake. HMPH, last time it got away and even snatched the blood spirit fruit. This time, I'm going to skin it alive to avenge my brother. By the way, Lao Wu, how did your brother actually die? Didn't you say he ate a blood spirit fruit by mistake and his body exploded? Lao Wu was silent for a moment, then said through gritted teeth, number. My brother was killed by people from the Black Wind organization. They stole the 2 blood spirit fruits we found in the far north. They pushed my brother off a cliff and then blamed it on the blood spirit fruit. This time, I'm not just here to catch the snake, I'm also going to get revenge on the Black Wind organization. I was taken aback. So, he was a pitiful man too. Just then, the hunting dogs at the front started barking wildly. The men immediately raised their rifles and looked around warily. Time to make my move. I shot out from the grass, my body, over 3 meters long, blocking out the sun. Casting a massive shadow, Lao Wu cried out, something's wrong. How did it get so big? Could it be that snake's father? While they were stunned, I shot forward, heading straight for Scarface. Scarface reacted instantly, raising his gun and firing. I whipped my tail and slammed it onto his arm. With a crack, the bone broke and his shotgun went flying. I spat a mouthful of venom onto his face. He collapsed to the ground without even a scream, and stopped breathing. A young man nearby was about to shoot when Old Wu grabbed him. Don't shoot, Old Lu is up ahead. The 2 hunting dogs behind me lunged forward. Without even turning my head, I swept my tail from side to side, and both dogs' heads instantly exploded. Brains splattered all over the ground. The rest of the men were scared stiff, just holding their guns, afraid to move. They all knew that capturing me alive was worth 1 million, but dead, only 300,000. I spat out Scarface, who was in my mouth. I let out a deafening hiss at them. This hiss was imbued with my psychic power. The immense pressure forced them to their knees, wailing in agony. In an instant, I had complete control of the situation. If you want to get rid of weeds, you have to pull them out by the roots. Since they dared to come and kill me, they must be prepared to die. I sprayed a huge cloud of venom that rained down on them. My enhanced venom is extremely corrosive. Anything it touched began to rot. In less than a minute, the wailing stopped. Just to be sure, I bit each one of them on the neck, injecting a large dose of venom. This time, there were definitely no survivors. I tore through their backpacks and destroyed all their electronic devices. I coiled my tail around the 10 shotguns and the ammunition they brought, planning to take them back for Mi Kai's family. In this age of spiritual energy resurgence, you need a gun to protect yourself. I didn't let the 2 hunting dogs or the rations they brought go to waste, either. I swallowed them whole. I gained 500 evolution points. Now, it's time to take care of that wild boar. I went back to the vegetable patch and continued to wait. Just as the sun was about to set, I heard a grunting sound. The mutated wild boar finally showed up. It was as big as a calf, with thick skin and flesh. Its 2 tusks gleamed menacingly, and its eyes were blood red. I shot out from the bushes, blocking its path. The boar froze for a second when it saw me, then let out a furious roar. It lowered its head and charged at me. It was incredibly fast and powerful, making the ground tremble with each step. But to me, it moved as slowly as a snail. I easily dodged its charge and whipped my tail across its rear. The boar was struck so hard it lurched forward and almost fell. It turned around angrily and charged at me again. I used the same trick again, dodging its attack and spitting venom right into its eyes. The boar squealed in pain and tried to claw at its eyes. I seized the opportunity, lunged forward, and bit its neck, injecting venom straight into its brain. The boar struggled for a moment, then collapsed to the ground with a thud, dead. I slowly dragged the boar's carcass back towards the village. When I got there, all the villagers were completely stunned. They stared, speechless and wide-eyed, as I dragged a boar that was bigger than I was. The Great Serpent Spirit. The Great Serpent Spirit has shown itself. I don't know who shouted it first, but soon all the villagers were kneeling and bowing to me. I dropped the boar in the courtyard of Mi Kai's house. Mi Kai ran over happily and petted my head. Gang Dan, you're amazing. I knew you could do it. Agway and old man Mi also rushed over to thank me. That night, the village held a huge victory feast. The villagers butchered the boar, and every family got a share of the meat. Everyone started treating me as the village's guardian serpent spirit. I thought things could go on like this forever. But I never expected that a much greater danger was silently approaching. 3 days later, I was sunbathing in the courtyard. Suddenly, I heard intense gunfire, explosions, and human screams in the distance. My heart sank, and I quickly activated my radar. I saw dozens of red blips moving quickly outside the village. A few of them were unusually large, with power levels rivaling my own. Oh no, it's the Black Wind organization. They found us. I immediately rushed into the house and said to Mi Kai, quick, take Grandpa and Dad and hide in the cellar. There are bad people outside. Mi Kai had also heard the commotion outside, and her face turned pale with fear. She quickly pulled her grandpa and Agway into the courtyard cellar. I had just put the cellar lid back on when a group of people in black clothes stormed the village. They were carrying submachine guns and rocket launchers, killing anyone they saw and burning down houses. Search everywhere. Find that mutated snake and the little girl who can talk to animals. The boss said there's a $10 million bounty if you catch them. A bald man shouted. Hiding on the roof, I watched them coldly. These people were well trained and well equipped. They were clearly no ordinary bandits. Just then, one of the men in black spotted the cellar lid. He shouted excitedly, Boss, there's a cellar here. They must be hiding in there. Good, open it. A few of the men in black went over to lift the lid. Don't you dare hurt Mi Kai. I leapt from the roof and spat out a mouthful of venom. It instantly knocked down those men in black. Over here, the snake is over here. The bald man shouted. All the men in black raised their submachine guns and fired wildly at me. The bullets clanged against my scales, not even leaving a scratch. I twisted my body, nimbly dodging around the courtyard while continuously spitting venom, taking down one man in black after another. This beast's hide is too tough. Use the rocket launcher. Bald man roared. A man in black shouldered a rocket launcher and aimed at me. My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly lunged to the side. The rocket whizzed past, hitting the house next to us with a boom. The house was blown to smithereens. Amidst the smoke and dust, I darted toward the man with the rocket launcher. I bit through his neck. Just then, a powerful presence emerged from behind me. I whipped around to see an old man in a white training suit standing behind me, staring at me with ice-cold eyes. The old man looked to be over 80 years old, but he was full of vigor. He exuded the aura of a mutant beast, a level 5 beast soldier, even stronger than me. I didn't expect this little snake to already be a mutant beast. Quite a good specimen, the old man said faintly. But daring to oppose our Black Wind organization leads to only one path. Death. Why are you capturing Mi Kai? I asked, using telepathy. The old man paused, then laughed. It can even communicate telepathically. What a treasure. That little girl is a natural psychic. We're capturing her as an offering to the boss. Boss will be very pleased. After speaking, he charged at me and threw a punch. The force of his fist whistled through the air, even cracking the ground. I quickly backed away to dodge the blow. At the same time, I spat a mouthful of venom at him. A golden light shimmered around the old man's body, and the venom actually bounced right off it. Petty tricks, the old man sneered and lunged at me again. He was too fast. I couldn't dodge at all. He punched my tail. A tremendous force hit me, sending me flying into a wall. I coughed up a mouthful of blood. Gang Dan. Mi Kai's anxious shout came from the cellar. Kyer, don't come out. I yelled frantically. Hearing Mi Kai's voice, the old man's eyes lit up. So the little girl is in here. Excellent. I'll catch them all in one go. With that, he started walking toward the cellar. Don't you dare touch her. I roared, scrambling up from the ground and lunging at him with everything I had. I wrapped my body tightly around him, squeezing with all my might. Let go of me, the old man roared, relentlessly smashing his fists into my body. Every punch cracked my scales and drew fresh blood, but I held on for dear life, refusing to let go, and injected all of my venom into his body. You damned beast. The old man felt the venom spreading through his body and became enraged. He gathered all his strength and, with a sudden jolt, threw me off. I slammed heavily onto the ground, every bone in my body shattered, unable to get up again. The old man clutched his chest, his face pale as he walked towards me. You have successfully angered me. I will kill you first, then drag that little girl back and make her wish she were dead. Just as he was about to reach me, the cellar door was suddenly thrown open. Mi Kai ran out, spreading her arms to shield me. Don't you dare hurt Gang Dan. Mi Kai's eyes were red, but her gaze was incredibly determined. Kyre, get back here. Old man Mi and Agway also ran out of the cellar, trying to pull her back. Well, so this is the little psychic girl, is it? She's quite a looker. The old man flashed a sinister smile and reached out to grab Mi Kai. No, I cried out in despair. Just as the old man's hand was about to touch Mi Kai, her eyes suddenly turned a pale blue. A powerful psychic energy erupted from her body, causing the surrounding stones to float into the air. Get away from me, Mi Kai screamed, and the floating stones shot toward the old man like cannonballs. The old man hadn't expected Mi Kai to be able to unleash such strong psychic power. Caught off guard, he was struck by several stones and staggered backward. What? She's a natural psychic body. Excellent, the boss will reward me handsomely for this. The old man, both shocked and delighted, lunged at Mi Kai again. Mi Kai had just awakened her powers and didn't know how to use them. It looked like she was about to be caught. At that moment, I focused all my mental energy and launched a psychic attack into the old man's mind. Ah, the old man let out a pained scream, clutching his head as he collapsed to the ground. My psychic attack wasn't strong, but it caught him completely off guard. Right now, I used the last of my strength to lunge out and bite him on the neck. I injected all the remaining venom in my body into him. The old man pointed at me, trying to say something, but couldn't get a single word out. His body slowly fell to the ground, twitched a few times, and then went still. I sighed in relief, then everything went black and I passed out. I don't know how much time had passed, but I slowly opened my eyes to find myself lying in Mi Kai's bed. Mi Kai was leaning over the side, looking at me with red, swollen eyes. Gang Dan, you're awake. This is wonderful. Seeing that I was awake, Mi Kai was so overjoyed she burst into tears. I'm okay now, don't cry. I gently brushed against her hand. Just then, old man Mi and Agway walked in. Seeing I was awake, they both breathed a sigh of relief. Lord Serpent Immortal, you're finally awake. You've been unconscious for 3 days, said old man Mi. What about those men in black? I asked. They've all been dealt with by the villagers. Agway said, it's all thanks to you and Kyre. Otherwise, our whole village would be dead. It turns out that while I was fighting the old man, the villagers had charged out with their hoes and sickles. And fought the remaining men in black. Although many villagers suffered casualties, they ultimately wiped out all of the men in black. Oh, right, Gang Dan, Mi Kai said, we found a letter on that old man. It says the Black Wind Organization is a group that specializes in capturing mutated animals and gifted individuals to experiment on. This was just the vanguard, the main force is still on its way. My heart sank. This village is no longer safe. So what are we going to do? Mi Kai asked worriedly. We have to leave this place. I said, let's go deep into the mountains. That place is deserted, the Black Wind Organization won't find us there. Old man Mi and Agway glanced at each other and nodded. They knew that staying meant certain death. Okay, we'll pack our things and leave tomorrow. The next morning, the entire village had packed their bags, ready to follow me. After what had happened, everyone trusted me implicitly. Just as we were about to leave, a tremendous bear roar came from the distance. I was startled and activated my radar, only to see a huge red blip moving rapidly towards us. Everyone, be careful, something is coming. I stood in front of the villagers to protect them. Soon, a huge black bear, more than 3 meters tall, appeared before us. Its fur was sleek and shiny, its muscles were well developed, and it had a ferocious look in its eyes. It also had several bleeding wounds on its body. This was also a mutant beast soldier, level 4. Seeing us, the black bear let out an angry roar and charged toward us. Everyone, get back, hide, I yelled as I charged forward to face it. I began to fight the black bear. The bear was incredibly strong with thick hide, and my venom had little effect on it. After a few exchanges, I started to lose ground. Just as I was about to give way, the black bear suddenly stopped. It looked at me, its eyes full of grief and rage. I paused, then tried to communicate with it using my psychic senses. Why are you attacking us? We haven't done anything to you. The black bear seemed stunned to hear my voice, then it replied using its own psychic sense. I smell the scent of the Black Wind Organization. They killed my cub, and I will have my revenge. I see. A pang of sympathy went through me. The members of the Black Wind Organization have already been killed by us, I said. We're also being hunted by them and we're preparing to escape into the deep mountains. The black bear looked at me, then at the villagers behind me, and the hostility in its eyes slowly disappeared. It bowed its head and let out a low growl towards me. I'm sorry, I was mistaken, the bear said. The Black Wind Organization will come again. I can't fight them on my own. You are very powerful. Will you let me follow you? I want to get my revenge. As I looked at it, an idea came to me. This black bear's power is considerable. If I could recruit it, our group's strength would increase significantly. Plus, it has a blood feud with the Black Wind Organization, so it would never betray us. Alright, I accept, I said. From now on, you stick with me, and I'll help you get your revenge. I'll call you Shangda. Shangda. Alright, from now on, I'll be Shangda. The black bear said happily. Ding, mutant beast has voluntarily submitted. Establish soul imprint? Yes. Soul imprint establishment successful. You can now communicate via your souls, and betrayal is impossible. Shangda and I both felt a new connection form in our minds. With Shangda joining us, the villagers all breathed a sigh of relief. After a short rest, we set off. Shangda and I walked at the very front to clear the path, while Mikai followed by my side, holding onto my tail. Agway and Old Man Mi led the villagers behind us. We encountered many mutated animals along the way, but Shangda and I easily took care of all of them. Shangda's fighting strength is incredible. He can kill a mutated wolf with a single slap. After walking for 3 days, we finally reached the heart of the deep mountains. The mountains here were high, the forests were dense, and there were no signs of people. We found a huge natural cave and decided to settle down here. The villagers started building houses and clearing land for farming. Shangda and I were in charge of hunting for food. Mikai taught everyone how to communicate with animals and use them as an early warning for danger. Life was tough, but everyone was very happy. One day, I was cultivating outside the cave when the system suddenly issued a warning. Ding! Warning! Spiritual energy has reached its limit. Break through to the next level immediately, or your body will explode and you will die. I was shocked. I quickly found a hidden valley, had Shangda guard the entrance, and then began my breakthrough. A massive storm of spiritual energy erupted inside my body. It felt like my body was being torn apart. This storm also attracted the surrounding beasts. A pack of mutated wolves surrounded the valley entrance. They watched hungrily. They knew that if I failed my breakthrough, my body would be the best nourishment for them. I clenched my teeth and desperately guided the spiritual energy to break through the bottleneck of the beast general realm. I thought of Mikai, I thought of the villagers, and I thought of my adoptive parents. I can't die. After a flash of lightning and a roar of thunder, the pain disappeared. An unprecedented power surged through my entire body. Breakthrough successful. Mutant beast, beast general level 1. Remaining beast essence, 35 years. New skill awakened, mental illusion. Anyone with weaker spiritual power who looks you in the eye has a 50% chance of being trapped in an illusion, where you can create any dream you wish. Congratulations, boss. Shangda's voice echoed in my mind. He was happy for me too. Seeing this, the wolves outside the valley turned and fled in terror. But a few who weren't afraid of death were still hesitating. Shangda, go take care of those few. You got it, boss. Shangda charged out and killed those few wolves with just a couple of swipes. Just in time for my lunch. I returned to the cave and told everyone the good news about my breakthrough. The villagers all cheered. Mikai ran over and patted my head. Gangden, you're getting stronger and stronger. Are you now the strongest in the... I chuckled, not yet. There are definitely stronger guys than me in these deep mountains. But I will get even stronger, and I'll definitely protect all of you. Just then, the sound of intense gunfire and explosions came from the distance. I was startled and activated my radar. I saw that dozens of kilometers away, hundreds of red dots were engaged in a fierce battle. A few of those dots actually had the strength of a beast general. This is bad. Main force of the Black Wind organization is here. My expression changed. Everyone grew tense. Gangden, what do we do? Mikai asked worriedly, tugging on my tail. I took a deep breath, my eyes filled with determination. Don't be afraid, I said. This time, we're not running away. We're going on the offensive. I looked at Shangda. Shangda, you take the villagers and hide deep inside the cave. Without my command, don't come out. Boss, I want to go with you. Shangda said anxiously. No. I shook my head. You have to stay behind and protect Mikai and everyone else. That's an order. Shangda hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Alright, boss, you have to be careful. Don't worry. I patted Mikai's head. Mikai, wait for me to come back. Gangden, you have to come back safely, Mikai said with tears in her eyes. I nodded, then turned and transformed into a black streak of lightning, racing towards the direction of the gunfire. Black Wind Organization. You owe me, you owe Shangda, and you owe everyone you've murdered. Today, I'm going to collect the debt, with interest. I moved quickly through the forest and soon arrived at the battle site. I saw the members of the Black Wind Organization locked in a fierce battle with a group of mutated animals. The Black Wind Organization had many ability users and augmented humans. And on the mutated animal side, there were also several beast general level leaders. Both sides were evenly matched, suffering heavy casualties. I hid in a tree, watching coldly. Let them fight it out. I'll wait until they both worn each other out, and then I'll make my move. Just then, I saw a familiar figure. It was Old Wu. He was actually in the ranks of the Black Wind Organization. I took a closer look and saw that Old Wu's eyes were vacant and his movements were stiff. He was obviously being mind-controlled. Oh no. Just then, a woman wearing a black trench coat walked out from the ranks of the Black Wind Organization. She was very beautiful, but her eyes were ice cold. She radiated a powerful psychic energy. She was a psychic esper. Her power had reached Beast General Level 3. A bunch of losers. You can't even handle a few beasts, the woman said coldly. Then with a flick of her hand, a powerful psychic force swept out. Those mutated animals were instantly controlled by her and began to kill each other. See that? This is the power of a psychic, the woman said smugly. Soon, the entire world will belong to our Black Wind Organization. My heart sank. This woman was too dangerous. If she discovered Mikai, the consequences would be unimaginable. I had to deal with her first. I focused all my psychic energy and launched a mental illusion attack into her mind. The woman was gloating when she suddenly felt the psychic intrusion. Her expression changed and she quickly resisted, but my psychic power was stronger than hers, and it was a surprise attack. She was instantly trapped in the illusion I wove. In the illusion, countless venomous snakes swarmed from all directions, tearing and biting at her body. She let out a blood-curdling scream, clutching her head as she crouched on the ground, struggling in agony. Now's my chance. I lunged down from the tree and bit her on the neck, injecting a large amount of venom into her body. The woman collapsed and died without even letting out a scream. With her death, the mind-controlled mutated animals regained their senses. They looked at the people from the Black Wind Organization, let out furious roars, and charged at them again. The people from the Black Wind Organization lost their commander and immediately fell into chaos. I took the opportunity to weave through the crowd, continuously taking lives. Old Wu also regained his senses. He looked at everything around him, then at me with a complicated expression. "Thank you for saving me," he said. "You're welcome," I said. "Why are you here?" I pretended to join the Black Wind Organization, looking for a chance to get revenge. "I never expected them to find me out and control me with drugs," Old Wu said with a bitter smile. Just then, a huge explosion erupted. A man wearing golden clothes walked out from the blast. He exuded a terrifying aura. He was a beast general level 5. "Useless trash. You can't even handle one little snake," the man in gold said coldly, then looked at me. "So you're the one who killed my daughter." "So that woman was his daughter." "That's right," I said coldly. "Your Black Wind Organization has committed countless evils and killed the innocent. You should have been dead long ago. You're asking to die." The man in gold roared and lunged at me. His speed and power far surpassed mine. After just a few rounds, he had beaten me until I was covered in wounds and steadily losing ground. "Gang Dan, I'll help you." Old Wu raised his hunting rifle and fired at the man in gold. The bullets only left a few white marks on his body. "An ant trying to shake a tree?" The man in gold snorted coldly. With a casual wave of his hand, a blast of energy hit Old Wu in the chest. Old Wu spat out a mouthful of blood, fell to the ground, and stopped breathing. "Old Wu," I shouted in rage. "Now, it's your turn." The man in gold walked towards me step by step, his eyes filled with killing intent. Just as he was about to reach me, a tremendous bear's roar echoed. Shang Da charged over with a group of mutated animals. Turned out Shang Da was worried about me and had brought the villagers. Mi Kai also ran over, her eyes turning light blue as a powerful psychic energy erupted from her. Together with me, she launched an attack on the man in gold. The man in gold didn't expect us to have backup and was caught off guard. He was hit by our psychic attack, and his movements slowed for a split second. Now's my chance. I used all my strength to lunge forward and bite him in the eye, injecting all the venom in my body into him. The man in gold let out a desperate, miserable scream, clutching his head and rolling on the ground. His body rotted at a visible rate, quickly turning into a pool of blood. With the death of the man in gold, the remaining men in black were wiped out by the mutated animals. The battle was over. We were victorious. I looked at Old Wu's body on the ground, a wave of sadness washing over me. Together, Shang Da and I buried him and all the others who had sacrificed themselves. After this battle, the main force of the Black Wind Organization was completely annihilated. Purely original, reborn as a snake. Looking at Old Wu's body on the ground, my heart ached with sorrow. This man, who was solely focused on avenging his younger brother, couldn't even kill his enemy with his own hands before he died. Shang Da and I used our claws to dig a deep pit for Old Wu and all the sacrificed villagers. All the mutated animals were buried. Mi Kai knelt before the grave, gently placing a bouquet of freshly picked wildflowers on the mound of earth. Tears dripped down, hitting the dirt and leaving small, dark spots. Gang Dan, they're never coming back, are they? Mi Kai asked between sobs, her little hand gripping my tail so tightly her knuckles turned white. I nudged the back of her cold hand with my head, my own heart aching. I used to think that in this world where the strong prey on the weak, being strong enough was all it took to protect the ones I cared about. But now I understand that even the sharpest fangs can't stop a sudden bullet, and the toughest scales can't protect every life you want to cherish. Don't be sad. For the first time, I spoke in human language. My voice was raspy, like sandpaper on wood. It was awkward, using my newly evolved vocal cords. Just a moment ago, after devouring the man in the golden clothes, I gained a full 50,000 evolution points. I immediately used them to get vocal cords. I had wanted to speak to Mi Kai for so long. I just never thought the first time would be at a moment of such sorrow. Mi Kai snapped her head up, her eyes wide. She even forgot to cry. Gang Dan, you can talk? The surrounding villagers and Shang Da were also stunned, staring at me with their mouths wide open. Their jaws nearly hit the floor. Shang Da scratched his furry head and said telepathically in his deep, rumbling voice, "Boss. You can actually talk like a person. That's incredible. Now I won't have to go through all the trouble of using telepathy to talk to you." I nodded. Looking at everyone's tired, scarred faces, I said in a solemn voice. Even though we've destroyed the Black Wind Organization, the world has completely changed. The spirit energy is reviving faster and faster. In the future, more and stronger mutated animals will appear. There will also be more bad people like the Black Wind Organization, who treat mutated beasts and gifted individuals as lab rats. We can't hide in this small cave anymore. We have to find a truly safe place. To build a home of our own. Everyone fell silent. They looked at the cave walls, blackened by battle, then at the women holding their children and the elders leaning on canes. The confusion in their eyes slowly gave way to determination. Lord Serpent Immortal, we'll all listen to you. A young villager with a bandaged arm shouted. If it weren't for you, we would have all died at the hands of the Black Wind Organization long ago. Wherever you go, we'll go. That's right, we'll follow you. Following the Serpent Immortal is the only way to survive. Looking at their faces, each one filled with trust, a warm feeling surged through me. I used to be just a little snake who escaped from a wine jar, wanting only to survive. But now, I have people to protect. I have a heavy responsibility. We spent a day packing our belongings and gathering all the food we could carry. Before we left, I went to Old Wu's grave one more time. I placed the dagger I'd taken from the man in the golden clothes on his gravestone. Old Wu, you can rest easy now. The Black Wind Organization is finished, and your brother has been avenged. From now on, I'll watch over this world for you. I won't let anyone else suffer the same fate as you. With that, I turned and led our group away. I took the lead, using my life-detecting radar to clear the path. Shang Da brought up the rear, carrying the heaviest luggage. Mi Kai walked in the middle of the group, using her psychic abilities to communicate with the small animals we passed, telling them not to attack us. Along the way, we met many displaced people. There were farmers whose villages had been destroyed by mutated beasts, gifted individuals who had escaped from laboratories, and even a small merchant caravan that was being hunted by the Black Wind Organization. As long as they were good-hearted and had done no wrong, I let them join us. In just half a month, our group grew from a few dozen people to more than 300. One evening, as we crested a high mountain, a breathtakingly beautiful valley suddenly appeared before us. It was surrounded on all sides by steep cliffs, with only a single, narrow mountain path leading to the entrance. It was easy to defend and difficult to attack. A crystal-clear stream meandered through the valley, bordered by large expanses of fertile, black earth. Colorful wildflowers bloomed all over the hills, and the air was filled with the scent of fresh grass and flowers. This is it. I looked at the valley before me and nodded in satisfaction. From now on, we'll call this place the Valley of All Beasts. Here, humans and mutated beasts can live together in peace, without ever having to fear being hunted again. No more wandering from place to place. Everyone cheered. The children ran around excitedly on the grass. The adults set down their heavy bags, their faces breaking into smiles for the first time in a long while. In the days that followed, the entire Valley of All Beasts was filled with energy. The men chopped down trees to build log cabins, while the women cleared the land to plant crops. The elders took the children to the stream to fish and gather wild vegetables. Shang Da and I patrolled the area around the valley with a few tamed mutated wolves, marking our territory and driving away any ill-intentioned mutated beasts. Building our new home was far more difficult than I had imagined. One morning, just as the sky began to lighten, a villager came running to me in a panic. This is bad. The crops in the fields have been eaten bare. My heart sank. I immediately followed him to the fields. Where yesterday there had been lush, green wheat shoots, now only bare stalks remained. The ground was covered in countless tiny footprints. Mutated locusts. I knelt and picked up one of the dead locusts. It was the size of a fist, with teeth as sharp as knives. A single bite could sever a wheat stalk at the root. What are we going to do? The villagers cried out in panic. That food was supposed to be our rations for the winter. If the locusts eat it all, we'll starve this winter. Everyone, stay calm. I stood up and said in a deep voice, Shang Da, take a team to the east side of the valley and cut down all the mugwort there. The smell of mugwort can repel locusts. Mi Kai, use your psychic powers to contact all the birds in the valley and have them come help eat the locusts. I'll go deal with the locust's nest. After speaking, I immediately activated my life detection radar. I quickly found the locust's gathering place in a pile of rubble on the west side of the valley. The place was crawling with a dense swarm of mutated locusts, a black mass so thick it made my skin crawl. I took a deep breath and violently spewed out a large cloud of black, poisonous mist. Wherever the poison mist passed, locusts dropped to the ground, twitched a few times, and then went still. But there were just too many locusts. I had to spray the poison mist several times. And I only managed to eliminate a small portion. Just then, a chorus of chirps echoed from the sky. I looked up and saw tens of thousands of sparrows, swallows, and crows flying in from all directions, swooping down on the locust swarm like a dark cloud. They frantically pecked at the locusts, wiping out a huge patch in no time. This is great. The birds are here. The villagers all started cheering. Shang Da also returned with his people, having cut the mugwort. They set it on fire, and a thick smoke filled the air above the fields. The remaining locusts smelled the mugwort, turned around, and flew away. This locust plague was finally resolved by us. To thank the birds for their help, Mi Kai led the children in building many birdhouses in the valley, and they spread grain for them every day. From then on, these birds became the air patrol of All Beast Valley. Whenever an enemy invaded, they would be the first to sound the alarm. After solving the locust plague, we encountered a new problem. The valley's water source was contaminated by a type of mutated algae. People would get diarrhea from drinking it. Livestock would get sick from drinking it. I took a few villagers who could swim and dive to the source of the stream, where we found the root of the algae. The roots of this algae were extremely tough. They couldn't be cut by blades or killed by fire. In the end, I had to use my venom to corrode its main root to completely clear out this harmful algae. As the days went by, All Beast Valley gradually took shape. Tidy rows of wooden houses were built by the stream, and the fields were filled with vegetables and grains. A stone wall over 3 meters high was built at the valley entrance, complete with lookout posts. More and more people heard of All Beast Valley's reputation and came to seek refuge. There was Bai Shui, a white rabbit spirit who could heal. Her herbal remedies could cure 100 illnesses, even snake venom. There was also Lin Wei Wei, a powered individual who could control plants. She could make seeds sprout instantly, growing a field of crops overnight. There was an old soldier skilled in mechanics, Wang Titsu. He used to be a worker in an armory and could repair all kinds of firearms and machines. There was also a group of gophers skilled at mining. They could dig extensive tunnels underground and find all sorts of ores. One day, as I was cultivating in the valley, the system suddenly issued a prompt. Ding! Detected that the host has accumulated 1 million evolution points. Racial evolution is now possible. Evolve immediately? My heart leapt with joy. I quickly found a hidden cave and had Shangda stand guard at the entrance. Don't let anyone disturb me. Evolve immediately. The moment I finished speaking, a pain 10 times more intense than the last one instantly swept through my entire body. My body began to grow wildly. My original 3-meter-long body suddenly grew to 10 meters. My black scales peeled off one by one, replaced by new scales that glowed with a faint blue, metallic luster. They felt as hard as steel to the touch. My fangs became longer and sharper, and the venom stored inside became thicker and more lethal. A single drop could melt an adult elephant. What surprised me the most was that a pair of small, spiral-shaped horns slowly grew on my forehead. Ding! Evolution successful. Race: Mystic Ink Dragon Snake, an ancient variant species. Realm: Beast King, Level 1. Remaining Beast Essence, 100 years. New skills awakened. Cloud Riding, Beginner, Spreading Poison Mist, Dragon's Might. Organ Modification. Sharp teeth have been automatically upgraded to dragon fangs, capable of easily tearing steel. Scales have evolved into dragon scales, immune to ordinary firearm attacks. I felt the power surging like a river inside me and flicked my tail lightly. The giant rock next to me was instantly shattered, sending fragments flying dozens of meters away. I tried to activate the cloud riding skill, and a black cloud of mist immediately rose from beneath my feet. It carried me, and I slowly began to float up. I flew higher and higher, until the entire scenery of All Beast Valley was laid out before my eyes. Boss, you can fly. That's so cool. Shangda shouted excitedly from below, slapping his paws together with a loud clap that made the ground tremble. I landed on the ground, feeling incredibly pleased with myself. I was no longer the little snake that had escaped from the wine jar. Now, even if the sky were to fall, I could hold it up. But I never expected disaster to strike so quickly. That afternoon, I was hunting with Mi Kai in the forest outside the valley. Suddenly, a series of piercing screams came from the distance. I was startled and immediately activated my life detection radar. I saw more than 10 red light dots several kilometers away rapidly disappearing. There was also a huge red light dot moving frantically. Oh no, someone's in trouble. I immediately had Mi Kai ride on my back and activated my cloud riding skill, flying towards the scene of the incident. Shangda also followed behind, running with huge strides. A few minutes later, we arrived at the scene. We saw more than a dozen bodies lying on the ground. They were all villagers from the small town at the foot of the mountain. Their bodies had been torn to pieces, and their blood stained the ground red. Not far away, a mutated brown bear over 5 meters tall was gnawing on a corpse. This brown bear's eyes were blood red, and the fur on its body was as hard as steel needles. He was obviously injected with a rage serum. The Celestial Alliance did this. My gaze turned cold as I looked at the collar on the brown bear's neck. A golden character for Celestial was engraved on it. It's exactly the same as the token on the Golden Wing emissary from before. So cruel. Mi Kai covered her mouth, tears welling in her eyes. These people, they were all innocent. Just then, the mutated brown bear spotted us. It dropped the corpse from its mouth, let out a deafening roar, and lunged toward us. Mi Kai ducked behind me. I shielded Mi Kai behind me and unleashed a Dragon's Dread at the mutated brown bear. Dragon's Dread is an exclusive skill of the ancient flood dragons, with an absolute suppressive effect on all beasts. The mutated brown bear instantly froze, trembling all over, its eyes filled with terror. I seized the chance, lunged forward, and bit its neck, injecting venom into its body. The mutated brown bear struggled for a few moments, then collapsed to the ground with a thud, dead. Gang Dan, look over there. Mi Kai pointed to a tree not far away. I looked up and saw a notice posted on it, which read, a reward of 100 million for the live capture of the Black Ink Flood Dragon or the Psychic Esper, Mi Kai. A reward of 10 million for any information. Issued by the Celestial Alliance. I ripped the notice down and crumpled it into a ball. It looks like the Celestial Alliance is already targeting us. The destruction of the Black Wind Organization has drawn their attention to the threat of our Valley of a Myriad Beasts. We should hurry back and tell everyone to prepare for battle, Mi Kai said worriedly. I nodded. With Mi Kai and Shangda, I quickly returned to the Valley of a Myriad Beasts. I immediately summoned all the core members for an emergency meeting. The Celestial Alliance has found us. They'll be sending a large army to attack soon. I threw the notice on the table and said grimly, starting today. The entire valley is on high alert. Wang Titsu, you and your men will reinforce the defenses at the entrance. Dig more traps. Lin Weiwei, you will plant mutated, thorny vines at the entrance to create a natural barrier. Bai Shui, you and your team will prepare more herbs and antidotes. Dong Da, you will lead all the mutated beasts to form a combat squad, ready to fight at any time. Yes, sir, everyone answered in unison, their eyes showing no fear. For the next few days, the entire valley of a myriad beasts was buzzing with activity. The stone wall at the valley entrance was raised to 5 meters, mounted with heavy machine guns modified by Wang Titsu. Below it, a trench more than 3 meters deep was dug and filled with sharpened bamboo stakes. Outside the stone wall, Lin Weiwei planted a dense ring of mutated vines. These vines were as thick as a finger and covered in poisonous thorns. If you were pricked by one, your entire body would become paralyzed. That evening, I was on patrol at the valley entrance. Suddenly, a blinding white light lit up the sky, followed by a deafening explosion. Not good. We have enemies. I immediately sounded the alarm. All the villagers and mutated beasts moved quickly, grabbing their weapons and running to their respective battle stations. Mi Kai ran over too, holding a pistol Wang Titsu had given her. Her small face was taut with determination. Mi Kai, get into the cave, quickly. It's too dangerous out here. I said urgently. No. Mi Kai shook her head and said firmly, I'm a member of the Valley of a Myriad Beasts. I'm going to fight with everyone. My psychic powers can help you. I couldn't argue with her, so I could only let her stay by my side to protect her at all times. Soon, a dozen small black dots appeared in the sky far away. As they drew closer, I could see they were about a dozen people dressed in black combat gear. They all wore jetpacks and carried submachine guns and rocket launchers. The one in the lead was a man in golden armor, with a pair of metallic wings on his back. He was holding a greatsword that glinted coldly. It was the Golden Wing emissary of the Celestial Alliance. So, you're the Black Ink Flood Dragon. You live up to your reputation. The Golden Wing emissary landed on the stone wall at the entrance, looking down at me with an icy tone. I am the Golden Wing emissary of the Celestial Alliance. I've come on the orders of our leader to capture you and that little psychic girl. Surrender now if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, I will flatten this entire valley of a myriad beasts and leave no one alive. The Black Wind Organization, they were your subordinates, weren't they? I asked coldly. The Black Wind Organization? They were just a dog we raised, that's all. The Golden Wing emissary laughed with contempt. To think they were actually killed by a little snake like you. But I suppose that's fine. It saves us the trouble of cleaning up our own trash. If you want me and Mi Kai, you'll have to get past me first. I violently spewed a great cloud of black poison mist, instantly blanketing the entire entrance. A parlor trick, the Golden Wing emissary scoffed, and with a single flap of his wings, a powerful gust of wind instantly scattered the poison mist. He raised his greatsword and brought it crashing down on me. I quickly dodged, and the sword slammed into the stone wall, instantly cleaving a deep trench over 10 meters long. Splinters of rock flew everywhere, knocking the nearby villagers off balance. Go, kill them, the reward is doubled, the Golden Wing emissary shouted. The dozen or so Celestial Alliance members behind him immediately charged toward the valley entrance. Some sprayed bullets wildly from their submachine guns, while others fired rockets from their launchers toward the stone wall. Fire! Wang Titsu roared. The heavy machine gun on the stone wall immediately roared to life, sending a rain of bullets toward the enemy. Lin Weiwei also controlled mutated thorns that burst from the ground, ensnaring the legs of several enemies. Shang Da led a pack of mutated wolves and monkeys, charging out of the valley to clash fiercely with the enemy. The battle instantly reached a fever pitch. The Goldwing emissary's 2 lieutenants also joined the fight. One was a fire adept. With a wave of his hands, he sent streams of fireballs shooting toward us, setting several wooden houses ablaze. The other was an augmented human with immense strength. He could shatter stone walls with his bare fists, and he killed several mutated wolves with a single punch. The Goldwing emissary and I battled in the sky. His swordsmanship was incredibly fierce, each slash whistling through the air. Although I was fast, his sword aura still managed to cut me in several places. Drops of my black blood fell to the ground, instantly corroding little pits into the earth. Gang Dan, watch out. Suddenly, I heard Mi Kai's voice. I turned my head and saw the Goldwing emissary taking advantage of my distraction, thrusting his sword toward my heart. I couldn't dodge in time and had to take the blow head on. With a sickening squelch, the great sword pierced my dragon scales and plunged deep into my body. Gang Dan, Mi Kai screamed as she ran over, her eyes instantly turning pale blue. A powerful wave of psychic energy erupted from her and slammed into the Goldwing emissary. He grunted and staggered back a few steps, a look of surprise on his face. I never thought this little brat's psychic power would be so strong. Perfect. I'll capture her and offer her to the Alliance leader. He will surely reward me handsomely. As he reached out to grab Mi Kai, I endured the searing pain, ripped the greatsword out of my body, and bit down on his arm. I injected all of my venom into him. The Goldwing emissary let out a horrified scream as his arm rotted before his very eyes. Enraged, he kicked me, sending me flying, and I slammed hard onto the ground. I spat out a mouthful of black blood. Gang Dan, Mi Kai threw herself beside me, cradling my head and sobbing, "Don't die." Gang Dan, please don't die. I'm okay, I said weakly, trying to reach out and wipe away her tears, but I realized I didn't even have the strength to lift my claw. You're all going to die. I'll tear you limb from limb. The Goldwing emissary clutched his rotting arm, his eyes filled with sinister hatred. He raised his greatsword, about to bring it down on us. Just then, a white figure shot out of the nearby woods and sank its teeth into the Goldwing emissary's other arm. It was Xiao Bai, a palm-sized, snow-white fox. Her parents had been killed by the Black Wind organization. Mi Kai had found her while out hunting one day. Xiao Bai was incredibly attached to Mi Kai, always scurrying around at her heels. She would rub against Mi Kai's hand with her fluffy tail. Mi Kai had even made a tiny pink outfit for her, which Xiao Bai wore every single day. She loved it too much to ever take it off. Get off. The Goldwing emissary angrily shook his arm, sending Xiao Bai flying. She slammed into a rock far away, spitting up a mouthful of blood. Her little pink outfit was torn, and her snow-white fur was matted with dirt and blood. But she struggled back to her feet and lunged at the Goldwing emissary again. Xiao Bai, no. Mi Kai let out a heart-wrenching scream, but it was as if Xiao Bai couldn't hear, biting down on the Goldwing emissary's pant leg and refusing to let go. Humiliated and enraged, the Goldwing emissary stomped down on Xiao Bai. There was a sickening crack of breaking bones. Xiao Bai let out a faint whimper as her body fell limp to the ground, never to move again. Her eyes remained open, staring in Mi Kai's direction. Her tiny paw was still clutching a single pink flower petal. Xiao Bai, Mi Kai let out a scream of pure despair and fainted. As I stared at Xiao Bai's body on the ground, a rage like nothing I had ever felt before surged through me. My eyes turned blood red. The Zan Mojao bloodline inside me began to burn furiously, and power erupted from within me like a volcano. Ding! Host's extreme rage has been detected. Triggering bloodline berserk. All attributes temporarily increased tenfold. Awakening temporary skill. Blood prison poison dragon. I shot up from the ground, moving so fast I left a trail of afterimages. Before the Goldwing emissary could react, my jaws clamped down on his neck. No, impossible. The Goldwing emissary's eyes widened in utter disbelief. With a powerful twist and a sharp snap, I broke his neck. I released my grip, and his lifeless body crashed to the ground. Then, I charged at the remaining members of the Heavens Alliance. I was like a ravenous beast clawing its way up from hell. Blood and gore flew everywhere I went, accompanied by waves of agonizing screams. In less than 10 minutes, every last member of the Heavens Alliance was dead. The effects of the bloodline berserk gradually faded, and I collapsed to the ground, passing out once again. I don't know how much time had passed before I slowly opened my eyes. I found myself lying in my familiar bed. Mi Kai was slumped over beside it, her eyes red and swollen like walnuts from crying. Model. She was mending Xiao Bai's torn pink clothes, tears dripping onto the fabric one by one. Gang Dan, you're awake. Mi Kai smiled the moment she saw I was awake, but tears still streamed down her face. You've been in a coma for 3 days. You scared me to death. I thought I'd never see you again. Where's Xiao Bai? I asked softly, my voice extremely hoarse. Mi Kai's smile vanished instantly, and she cried even harder. She loved the peach blossoms there. Every spring, so many pink peach blossoms would bloom. A sharp pain stabbed my heart. That little, snow-white fox, whenever Mi Kai was unhappy, she would rub her face with her fluffy tail. Whenever I was training, she would lie quietly on my tail and sleep. Whenever it was time to eat, she would leave the tastiest piece of meat in her bowl for Mi Kai. But now, she's never coming back. I'm sorry. I failed to protect her, I said, filled with guilt. It's not your fault. Mi Kai shook her head, wiped her tears, and her gaze grew firm. Xiao Bai died to protect us. We must get stronger so something like this never happens again. We have to avenge Xiao Bai and everyone else killed by the Sky Alliance. I nodded. Although we won this battle, we paid a terrible price. More than 20 villagers and over 10 mutated beasts were sacrificed. Many homes in the valley were burned down. More importantly, we lost our dear Xiao Bai. Just then, Shangda walked in, holding a black box. Boss, we found this on the Goldwing emissary's body. I took the box and opened it. Inside was a black token and a letter. The token was engraved with a golden character for Sky, and the letter detailed the Sky Alliance's next plan. In half a month, the Sky Alliance leader, Yi Tian, will personally lead 500 elite soldiers to flatten Beast Valley and capture Mi Kai and me alive. Half a month. I frowned. That's not enough time. Yi Tian's power is far greater than the Goldwing emissaries. We're no match for him at all. Then what do we do? Shangda said anxiously. How about we move again? Hide deeper in the mountains. It's no use. I shook my head. If the Sky Alliance could find us here, they can find us anywhere we hide. Running away won't solve the problem. We have to face them head on. I picked up the letter and examined it closely. Suddenly, I noticed a small mark at the end of the letter. It was a crookedly written character for Wu. Old Wu. I was stunned for a moment. This was Old Wu's mark. He used this same mark on notes he left me before. I quickly flipped the letter over and saw a few lines of small text written in invisible ink on the back. I dripped some of my venom on it, and the words slowly appeared. The Sky Alliance leader's real name is Yi Tian, a mad scientist. He has modified himself into a half-machine, half-human monster. His core device is in his chest. His weakness is mental power. If you attack his core device with powerful mental energy, you can destroy him. In Lab 307, on the third basement level of the Sky Alliance headquarters, I've hidden the blueprints for a mental power amplifier and some confidential Sky Alliance files. I hope this can help you. Also, Yi Tian is extremely suspicious. He has set up countless traps at the headquarters. You must be careful, Old Wu. I looked at these lines of text, my heart filled with mixed emotions. So Old Wu knew about the Sky Alliance all along and was already prepared to make a sacrifice. He had been investigating the Sky Alliance in secret, leaving us the crucial clue to defeat Yi Tian. Old Wu, Mi Kai also saw the writing, and her tears started falling again. He was such a good person. I nodded and carefully put the letter away. We can't let Old Wu's sacrifice be in vain. Right now, we have two choices. One is to wait here for the Sky Alliance to attack. Two is to take the initiative, infiltrate the Sky Alliance headquarters, find the blueprints for the mental power amplifier, and then take the opportunity to assassinate Yi Tian. I think it's better to take the initiative, Shang Da said. If we wait here, we'll just be taking a beating. Besides, if 500 of their elites come, Beast Valley will surely be destroyed. We can't let the home we worked so hard to build be gone just like that. The Sky Alliance headquarters must be heavily guarded. It's too dangerous, Mi Kai said with worry. And Yi Tian is so cunning. What if this is a trap he's set? It's definitely dangerous. I looked at Mi Kai seriously and said, but this is our only chance. If we wait for Yi Tian to attack us with his army, we won't stand a chance. Shang Da and I will go to the Sky Alliance headquarters. You stay here and protect the villagers. No. Mi Kai immediately shook her head. I'm going with you. My mental power can help you. Besides, Old Wu's letter also said Yi Tian's weakness is mental power. I'll be of most use if I go with you. I also want to get revenge for Xiao Bai and Old Wu. Looking at Mi Kai's determined eyes, I knew I couldn't change her mind. Moreover, the mental power amplifier can only be effective when used by someone with psychic abilities. It's indeed essential for Mi Kai to come along. Alright, I nodded. Then we'll go together. But you have to promise me you'll stick close and not run off. If there's any danger, get behind me immediately. Okay, I promise you. Mi Kai nodded emphatically, a happy smile spreading across her face. Over the next few days, we started to prepare. I left the affairs of the Valley of 10,000 Beasts to Bai Shui, Lin Weiwei, and Wang Titsu. I also left a few of the stronger mutated beasts to protect the villagers. Wang Titsu prepared plenty of weapons and ammunition for us, along with some compressed biscuits and water. Bai Shui got a lot of medicinal herbs and antidotes ready for us. Especially an antidote for the mechanical toxin. Before we left, Mi Kai, Shang Da, and I went to the peach blossom tree on the back mountain. Tender green grass had already grown on Xiao Bai's grave. Mi Kai placed a bouquet of freshly picked peach blossoms in front of it. Then she gently laid the mended pink dress on the mound of earth. Xiao Bai, we're going to avenge you. Mi Kai said softly, you wait for us. We will definitely kill Yi Tian and make everyone who hurt you pay the price. When we come back, we'll plant a whole hillside of peach blossoms for you. I nudged the gravestone with my head and said silently in my heart, Xiao Bai, don't you worry. I will protect Mi Kai, and I will definitely get revenge for you. Then, we turned and left the Valley of 10,000 Beasts, heading towards the Tianming headquarters. According to the map from the Golden-Winged Emissary, the Tianming headquarters is built deep in the snow-capped mountains of the far north. It's covered in snow year-round, with temperatures dozens of degrees below zero, rarely visited by people, and very well hidden. We traveled north for about 10 days and finally arrived at the foot of the snowy mountains. The temperature here had already dropped to minus 30 degrees, and everything was a vast expanse of white. The cold wind cut at our faces like knives, stinging with pain. It's so cold. Mi Kai wrapped her down jacket tightly around herself, her little face frozen red and the tip of her nose purple. I quickly coiled my body around her to keep her warm. My body maintains a constant temperature, like a big furnace. Shang Da also came closer, using his thick fur to block the cold wind. Just hang in there a little longer, we're almost there, I said softly, gently patting her back with my tail. We continued deeper into the snowy mountains. The farther we went, the thicker the snow became, in some places even coming up past Shang Da's knees. Moreover, there were many ferocious, mutated snow beasts on the mountain that would charge out and attack us from time to time. Around noon that day, as we were struggling through the snow, the ground beneath our feet suddenly split open. A huge, mutated snow leopard shot out from the snow and pounced towards Mi Kai. This snow leopard was over 3 meters long, its fur as white as the snow, blending in perfectly. Its claws were as sharp as steel knives, and it could shatter bone in a single bite. Watch out, I shouted, shoved Mi Kai aside, and faced it myself. The snow leopard bit down on my shoulder, its sharp teeth piercing through my dragon scales. Blood gushed out instantly. Enduring the pain, I bit down on the snow leopard's neck, injecting venom into its body. The snow leopard struggled for a moment, then released its jaw and retreated a few steps, its eyes filled with wariness. It hadn't expected my scales to be so tough, or my venom to be so potent. Who are you? Why did you attack us? I asked using my psychic senses. I could feel that there was no malice in this snow leopard's eyes, only anger and wariness. The snow leopard was stunned for a moment, then replied with its psychic senses, "This is my territory. You humans are all bad people. The people from Tianming killed my cubs. I want to kill all humans for revenge. So that's why." I felt a surge of sympathy. Another poor soul whose family was destroyed by Tianming. "We're not from Tianming," I said. "We're going to the Tianming headquarters to get revenge. The people from Tianming also killed our friend. We're going to kill Yi Tian and avenge all the people he has killed." The snow leopard looked at me, then at Mikai and Shangda behind me. The hostility in its eyes gradually faded. It lowered its head and let out a low growl at me. "I'm sorry, I misunderstood you," the snow leopard said. "The people from Tianming killed my 2 cubs and captured my mate for experiments. I can't beat them alone. You're very strong. Can you let me follow you? I want revenge." I looked at it, and an idea came to mind. This snow leopard's power is immense, its speed is incredible, and it excels at fighting in the snow. If I could take it on as a follower, our strength would increase greatly. Besides, it has a blood feud with Tianming, so it would never betray us. "Alright, I agree," I said. "From now on, you'll follow me, and I'll help you get your revenge. We'll call you Snow Shadow." "Snow Shadow. Okay, from now on, I'm Snow Shadow," the snow leopard said happily, circling around us a few times. Ding. Detected beast's voluntary submission. Established soul imprint? Yes. Ding. Soul imprint established successfully. From now on, communication via soul is possible. Betrayal is impossible. With Shui Ying joining us, our journey became a lot smoother. She's familiar with the snowy mountain terrain and knows where the dangers and shortcuts are. With her leading the way, we avoided many dangerous ice crevasses and territories of mutated snow beasts, allowing us to move much faster. That evening, we finally saw the outline of the Tianming headquarters. It was a massive steel fortress, built halfway up the mountainside. It was surrounded by barbed wire and high-voltage electric fences, with heavily armed guards patrolling the entrance. Above the fortress, several drones were circling, monitoring every move. "The security is really tight," Shangda whispered. "How are we going to get in? Brute force is definitely not an option." I activated my life-form detection radar and scanned the fortress's structure carefully. I discovered an abandoned ventilation duct at the back of the fortress. Its entrance was blocked by a thick metal plate, and there were no security cameras in that area. There are hardly any guards there either. "Follow me." I led Mikai, Shangda, and Shui Ying around to the back of the fortress. Sure enough, there was a ventilation duct over a meter in diameter, its entrance blocked by a metal plate. Shangda yanked the plate off with one powerful pull. We crawled into the vent one by one. It was pitch black inside and smelled of dust and rust. We crawled through the ventilation ducts for about an hour until we were finally above the 3rd basement level. I used my tail to gently lift a vent cover and peeked down below. Inside, there were a bunch of scientists in white lab coats, busy with their experiments. All sorts of mutated animals were locked in cages on the tables, and they'd all been injected with some kind of drug. They were struggling in agony, letting out piercing cries. "This is horrible. That's so cruel," Mikai whispered, her eyes filled with rage. "These people have no humanity." I clenched my fists as well. The people from Tianming are even more twisted than the Black Wind Organization. They use living animals as test subjects for all sorts of inhumane experiments. All just to create more powerful weapons to rule the world. We quietly dropped down from the vent and hid behind a cabinet. I activated my radar and located Lab 307. It's at the end of the hall. "Come on, let's go get the blueprints." I led them carefully toward Lab 307. We managed to avoid the patrolling guards and security cameras along the way. We made it to the entrance of Lab 307 without any trouble. I used my venom to melt the lock, then pushed the door open and went in. The lab was filled with all kinds of documents, blueprints, and experimental equipment. I followed Old Wu's instructions from the letter and found the blueprints for the psychic power amplifier inside a safe. There was also a USB drive. It must be where Tianming keeps its secret files. "Got it," I said, happily tucking the blueprints and the USB drive away safely. But just then, the laboratory door suddenly slammed shut. The lights flashed on, so bright we couldn't open our eyes. A cold voice echoed from a speaker. "Welcome to Tianming headquarters, Mr. Xuanmo Zhao Snake. I've been waiting for you for a long time." My heart skipped a beat, and I immediately shielded Mikai behind me. Shangda and Shui Ying also got into attack stances, cautiously scanning our surroundings. Just then, a wall in the lab slowly slid open, and Yi Tian walked out. He was wearing a white lab coat and looked to be in his 50s, with salt and pepper hair. He wore a pair of gold-rimmed glasses. If you didn't know who he was, you would never have guessed that this refined-looking man was actually the leader of Tianming, a demon with blood on his hands. "How did you know we would be here?" I asked coldly. "Old Wu was an undercover agent I planted myself," Yi Tian said with a smug smile. "He thought he was investigating me. But in reality, I was in control of his every move. I let him pass that false weakness information to you on purpose, just to lure you right into my trap." What? My eyes shot wide open, a cold feeling creeping into my heart. So we had walked right into Yi Tian's trap from the very beginning. "But still, I must thank you." "Thank you," Yi Tian continued, "for helping me get rid of that useless Goldwing. He was planning to betray me for a long time, and I was just looking for an excuse to kill him. And this little girl with you, Her psychic energy is just perfect. All I have to do is extract it and inject it into my core device. And I'll become the most powerful being on this planet. When that happens, the whole world will bow down before me. As he finished speaking, he waved his hand sharply. Dozens of superpowered beings and cyborgs in black combat suits rushed out from all directions, completely surrounding us. Shang Da, Shui Ying, protect Mi Kai, I yelled and lunged at Yi Tian. He just sneered as the clothes on his chest suddenly ripped apart, revealing a metal core that was glowing with a blue light. In an instant, his arm transformed into a sharp metal blade and he swung it at me. Yi Tian and I were locked in battle. He was so much stronger than Goldwing, and his body was cybernetically enhanced. He wasn't afraid of my venom at all. My attacks barely left a scratch on him. His speed and power were far greater than mine. After just a few exchanges, he had me on the ropes, and I already had several new wounds. Meanwhile, Shang Da and Shui Ying were fighting the other superpowered beings and cyborgs. Even with Shang Da's immense strength, they were outnumbered, and he was quickly losing ground. He'd already been cut several times. Shui Ying was incredibly fast, weaving between the enemies and striking at their weak spots. But one of my legs was frozen by a metahuman who could control ice, while Mikai used her psychic powers to attack the others and slow them down. But her psychic powers weren't strong enough to even hurt Yi Tian. It's no use. You're no match for me, Yi Tian said smugly as he punched me in the stomach. The force sent me flying into a wall, and I coughed up a mouthful of blood. Gangden, Mikai shouted, running over to help me up. Yi Tian took the chance to lunge at Mikai, his hand reaching for her head. Don't, I shouted in despair. Just then, the lab door was suddenly blasted open. A familiar figure rushed in, holding a submachine gun, and started spraying bullets wildly at Yi Tian. Lao Wu, I stared, unable to believe my own eyes. Lao Wu was wearing a black combat suit with a scar on his face. He shouted as he fired, Gangden, get Mikai out of here, now. I'll hold him off. Lao Wu, you're not dead, I said, overjoyed. If I were dead, who would be here to kill this son of a bitch? Lao Wu shouted. Yi Tian has 2 core devices, one in his chest, and one in his brain. You have to destroy both cores at the same time to kill him for good. The schematics for the psychic amplifier were real. I added a hidden program that can boost its power tenfold. Yi Tian, who never expected Lao Wu to be alive, turned pale with rage. Traitor, I'll kill you. He lunged violently at Lao Wu. Lao Wu quickly dodged, but Yi Tian's metal blade still slashed his arm. Gangden, get Mikai out of here, now. I've already planted explosives in the headquarters. They'll go off in 10 minutes. Lao Wu yelled, pulling a remote from his pocket. I'm taking this bastard down with me. No, Lao Wu, we'll do it together. I yelled back. There's no time. Lao Wu smiled, his eyes full of relief. I can finally avenge my little brother. Gangden, take care of Mikai. Take care of everyone in the Valley of 10,000 Beasts. The future of this world is in your hands now. After saying that, he slammed the button on the remote. Then, he lunged at Yi Tian, holding him in a death grip. No, Yi Tian let out a desperate scream. Go, now, Lao Wu yelled at us. I gritted my teeth, knowing this was no time to hesitate. I scooped up Mikai and shouted to Shang Da and Shui Ying, let's go. We rushed out of the lab and ran towards the ventilation ducts. A huge explosion erupted behind us, and the entire fortress shook violently. I looked back and saw that Lab 307 had become a sea of fire. Lao Wu and Yi Tian were gone forever. Lao Wu, Mikai sobbed silently on my back. My own heart ached with grief. Lao Wu had sacrificed his own life to give us a chance to escape. He had also avenged all those who were murdered by the Tianming. He followed the ventilation ducts and quickly escaped from the Tianming headquarters. Not long after we got out, a series of massive explosions roared from behind us. The entire steel fortress was instantly engulfed in a sea of fire, with thick smoke billowing into the sky. Watching the raging flames, I finally felt a sense of relief. Xiao Bai, Lao Wu, and everyone who was killed by the Tianming and the Black Wind Organization, you have finally been avenged. We began our journey back to the Valley of 10,000 Beasts. The sun was bright, and the ice and snow were melting. Tender green grass was already sprouting from the snow-covered ground by the roadside. Spring was coming. When we returned to the Valley of 10,000 Beasts, all the villagers came out to welcome us. When they heard that we had destroyed the Tianming, they all cheered, treating us like heroes. In the days that followed, we began to rebuild our home. Wang Titsu led his team to build the first psychic amplifier based on the schematics. After putting on the amplifier, Mikei's psychic powers became incredibly strong. She could even communicate with animals thousands of miles away and create sturdy psychic shields. The Valley of 10,000 Beasts became more and more prosperous. More and more humans and mutated animals came here to live in peace and harmony. We built schools, hospitals, and shops in the valley. Children could study without worry, and adults could work in peace. The valley was filled with laughter and joy. There were no more wars or killings. One day, Mikai, Shang Da, Shui Ying, and I went to the peach blossom tree on the back mountain. Xiao Bai's grave was covered in pink peach blossoms. As the wind blew, the petals fluttered down like a shower of pink snow. Mikai placed a bouquet of peach blossoms in front of the grave and said softly, Xiao Bai, look. We're living a good life now. No one will ever bully us again. I've planted a whole hillside of peach blossoms for you. Every spring, this place will be covered in them. They're as beautiful as you were. I nuzzled McKay's hand with my head and said silently in my heart, Xiao Bai, Lao Wu, you can rest in peace. I will always protect Mikai, protect the Valley of All Beasts, and protect this warm home of ours. Xiang Dao also scratched his head and said in a gruff voice, Xiao Bai, old Wu. I'll come to see you often in the future. I'll bring you the strawberries Xiao Bai loves most, and the white liquor old Wu loves to drink. Shui Ying also lowered her head toward the grave and let out a low roar, as if paying tribute. The sun set in the west, and the golden sunlight shone on us, stretching our shadows very, very long. I looked up at the azure sky, my heart filled with happiness. Although I was reborn as a snake, I have gained something more precious than what humans have. I have the best of friends, a family to protect, and a warm home. There's still a long life ahead, and I will always be here with Mikai, Xiang Da, and Shui Ying. And all our friends in the Valley of All Beasts, living happily together. Forever. 4:30. 102. 4:30. 102. 4:30. Since we can't get out for now, 102. 5 we might as well eat something first. 4:30. 0. 4:30. 1 to 0.